Well, hello, my fabulous friends. I hope you're doing well. Well, something a little bit different for us today. I'm going to show you by using, Meghan and Harry's, and I'll probably do Williams and Catherine's. This takes a long time to set up, so I'll do them one at a time. I'm going to show you how you can set out what's basically going to happen in the next month for you based on the first of the month. Now, we are going to use astrology. So what I do is I have, this is Meghan's natal chart. I want you to think of this chart as a clock, right? I mean, you think about it, it's just time ticking along and how these planets move along. And like the sun is a planet. And as the sun moves around the clock, is it 11 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock? So I want you to think of the planets of astrology as the same. And we can freeze that clock at one time and then take that information, put that into tarot cards, and see what the projection is from that time for the rest of the month. And it's our intention as well. You can do this on a full moon, new moon. We happen to have a new moon and a first of a month. You can do it, basically anytime you want. I normally only keep it at a month because the moon and the sun move quite quickly in that month. So do the other planets. Some of them are quite slow, but the sun moves, changes houses every month. So that's why I only do it for a month. So what you do is you get your natal chart. You just go to astro.com. It's a free. It's best if you know your time. If you don't, you can still use this. And then what you do is transits. So on the outside here, we have the transits. And that just means, so the inside is where the planets were the moment she was born. And that clock has now been frozen for the rest of her life. Now, the clock on March 1st is now frozen as well. And this is where the planets are on that date. So we're going to see we're going to see if we can project what's going to happen using the tarot cards during this month. So we're going to use Meghan Markle first, and let's take it from there. And as I go along, I'll explain it to you. And we'll go house by house. So, and you use whole houses for this system. You have to use whole houses because you need the 12 houses and where they, and you need to know the decans. And when you're using the system, because we not only use this, we use this list, the tarot decans, and this list, and this astrology as well. Okay, so that's why you need that. So without further ado, I'm just going to leave this here. I pretty much know what's going on. First off, Meghan is a Knight of Wands. I know a lot of people call her the Queen of Wands, but according to ancient charts, she is the Knight of Wands. And that makes more sense to me because the Knight of Wands is somebody who rushes in, and really doesn't concentrate, never really finishes anything. Johnny on the spot, loves trends, constantly follows trends. There's nothing really stable about them. They, not only do their activities go from place to place, so do their loyalties. They really do want to kind of help. They make great firemen, absolutely make the best firemen, because they love the quick in and out. We look after this fire and then we look after the next fire. They're not long-term project people. And you look at all the projects she's had, she hasn't finished any of them. Like, she doesn't have any long-term projects ever in her whole life. And that's a Knight of Wands. Also, I could go in more and more and more. They tend to use people for what they need. They don't have great memories. This is the guy that floats into the bar, best looking guy in the bar, has his way with the best looking girl of the night, and never texts her again. And not in a mean way. That's just, they're off to the next best thing, the next best thing, the next best thing. she'll probably be the type of person that's married at least 5 times in her life, that kind of thing. So she is a Knight of Wands. So please stop telling me she's the Queen of Wands. She is not. And according to this ancient chart, the Knight of Wands, it's right here, July 31st to August 10th, is ruled by the Knight of, her birthday's August 4th, so she's the Knight of Wands. All right, so end of that. So let's get back to our chart. So we go house by house. So the first house, the transiting, not the natal, the transiting. In the first house is Cancer. So I have the Chariot, and we have Mars in the first house. So I have the Tower. And Mars is in the second decan. That's why you need to know the decans. That's why you need to do the whole. And that house is represented by the Three of Cups. So what can that tell us about Meghan? Well, I think one of her, okay, so you go, well, what's a Chariot? Well, it's being under control. It's controlling mind, body, spirit. It's controlling your actions. It's calmness. Everybody says it's movement. It's not. People, look, he's in a block of cement. He has no reins on these booby things. He's content. He's won the battle. He's a general. He's won the battle. Things are stable. He's got that white square on him. Things are very stable. And he's in touch with his body, mind, and soul. Okay? So this is being in control. Oh, and you don't read any of these in reverse. Now we have the Tower, which is Mars, is very destructive. So Mars is very destructive in Cancer, and Mars can actually upset the card here. So the card is nice and quiet and in control. Interesting, he has like this suit of armor, and so do Cancerians in their shell, the crab in its shell. And here comes Mars to really rock things up. And this is with, this card represents friends and celebrations. I think a friend this month, I think a friend that she thought was steady is going to betray her, is going to rock her world, is going to do something absolutely shocking. So there's right there. So that's Mars in Cancer in her first house. I think we are going to see a friend really do something shocking to her. And she doesn't see it coming at all. And it's actually going to upset, because that's what the Tower does, upset her calmness and upset her friends, and really put something into how she feels about those friends that'll change it forever. But that, you know what, that's what she does. She's a Knight of Wands. She goes through friends like water, and she uses people when she needs them, and she goes on to the next one. She's the Knight of Wands. End of story. All right, so let's go to the next house that's activated. So if you look here, there's nothing in her second house, which is Leo, nothing in her third house, which is Virgo, nothing in her fourth house, which is Libra. Remember, we're doing here, not inside here. We're doing the outside planets. These are already written in stone. So we're looking to see what's happening the next month. Nothing in her fifth house, which is Scorpio, nothing in her sixth house, which is Sagittarius, nothing in her seventh house, which is Capricorn. And then we get to her eighth house, which is Aquarius. And we have Pluto in Aquarius. So now we look. So Aquarius is the star. Aquarius is the star. Pluto is judgment. And Pluto is in the first decan. And that is the Five of Swords. I'm going to tell you right now, everyone has Pluto in Aquarius in the first decan. Everyone does. How it applies to you is what house it's in. It's in the eighth house. This is her endings house. It could be, she could have some great endings. Pluto could come and take away some great endings for her. So we have the star, which is hope and healing and being a star. And of course, you know, that's my Diana card. July 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1st. And that's her birthday, and she's a star. So this is her hope and healing, but it's in her 8th house. And with judgment here, with Pluto here, she may have a second chance at hope and healing. Or she's going to be come up for some harsh judgment. And I say that because it is the 5 of Swords. Again, we all have this in our charts. Pluto is very, very slow moving. It depends what house it is in, how it's going to affect you. So what's 5 of Swords, bully? I think that we are going to see, not only in the next 30 days, because Pluto is so slow going, this is going to go on for months for her, if not years, probably years, about her bullying accusations. This is a second time the bullying is going to come up for her. Now, if you don't have any, I mean, if this is applying to everybody, I'm saying it's because it's in her 8th house of deep, dark secrets, of transformation, of things coming to light. So, for example, if this was in your 5th house, you might have a second chance at winning something, because your 5th house is winnings. All right. So it depends what house you're in, but what's screaming at me is the bully card. And in the 8th house, that could actually send her, this could be the second time this is starting to come up, and it's going to be the time that comes to light in hope and healing. And I think it's not hope and healing for her, because Aquarius is humanity. I think it's hope and healing for the people that she bullied. I think they're going to finally get a chance to explain what went on. They're getting a second chance at using their voice, and we're going to soon find out who is being bullied, meaning both ways. I think some of these people are going to start to give her a big piece of her own medicine so they can hope and heal. And I think that in the next 30 days, we're going to see more and more of that as this Pluto becomes stronger in this first decan. I think we'll see more of the people being able to speak their mind. See, they rise up and they're allowed to speak their mind. Here's the English flag. That's where I'm getting all that from. And of course, this isn't going to apply to all of us. You have to look and see how it applies to your own job, or your own. I think that's what's going to happen, because we're doing predictions for Meghan. Now, if you are Cancer rising and you have Pluto in your 8th house, you have this configuration. It might mean something completely different for you. It might mean some kind of surgery. You get surgery again on something for the second time, and you have hope and healing. You have to apply it to yourself, because swords can be surgery. So I think, though, with Meghan and the 5 of Swords here with the bullying, I think we're going to see some of it coming out of England. I really do. And that's going to bring the people that she hurt some hope and healing. And I wouldn't want to be her, actually, in the next 30 days. Yeah. Anyways, that's what I'm predicting. We're going to see more of those allegations. We're going to see more people come out of the woodwork. We're going to hear more about NDAs. Look at that. The clock agrees. All right. So now we get up to her 9th house, and it's a pretty busy house. We have in her 9th house, which is a Pisces house, so that's the moon. We have the sun. We have the moon and the sun. And isn't this fascinating that the moon, this is actually the sun with this is actually an eclipse. And we have 2 eclipses in March. And so we have the sun and the moon on eclipse. And we have everybody has that right now because everybody has the sun is in Pisces, and the Pisces is the moon. So anyway, sorry, I'm getting distracted. And we have Saturn in this house, and we have Mercury in this house, and we have Uranus in this house. Now, the sun is in the second decan, which is the ninth. The sun and Saturn are in the second decan, which is the Nine of Cups. And Mercury and Uranus are in the third decan, which is the Ten of Cups. So we pull out all our cards, and now we reread them. This is quite a pile. Now, again, all of us have these planets. This is a big watch, right? And it just shifts a little bit. So think of it like time zone changes, right? So the sun is obviously in Pisces, so everybody has the sun and the moon, but what house is it in? Because you shift time zones. Maybe your sun and your moon are in your first house, right? And so that would change a few things. And so I just want to get to the cards here. So the ninth house is the Sagittarian house, which is the Knight of Wands. So these next 30 days are really going to affect her, especially especially the eclipses are going to really affect her. She is going to see some endings, some big endings, and coming after that eighth house there. Yeah, something is absolutely going to end. She is I have to tell you, her Uranus on her Mercury here is she's going to see her business from a different point of view. She's going to kind of be stuck on one thing. She's got some endings, she's got some stuck things. I don't think she'll be traveling a lot in the next little while. I think she will try to come off as quite intellectual, and it's not going to work. It's not going to work. Now she has the Nine of Cups and the Ten of Cups. Is she going to show up at the Oscars? We'll find out in a couple of hours, but that's award show. It's her wish to go to award show, and here's the joy and happiness. Now, she has these in here for the next 30 days. These are activated. And I think that we're going to see a lot of her with the children. I think I have called that for months now, if not a year, that her end game was doing something and merging those children. And we are starting to see it. I refuse to post anything of that she's doing on Instagram. I don't want to give her the AI clicks or anything. And I think we're going to, it's her wish that she does something with the children. Is her show going to be successful? I don't think so. We got the Hanged Man here. I think we're going to see, it's certainly not going to be successful worldwide, because that's the ninth house. Your ninth house, your Sagittarius house, is traveling. That's around the world. These eclipses are really going to affect her. They're really going to put an end to something. I think that the world will see her in a different point of view. But it will be good for her family. She's actually going to be very happy. I'm going to see if she's going to show up at the Oscars and be really smug about it. This also is telling me, because there's also, this is endings too. Tens are endings. Third decan stuff is endings. We might, we just have so many endings here for her. I think there's going to be huge, I think these eclipses are going to bring big endings into her life. Now, we didn't get the death card anywhere, but we do have this Tower card. That's what's making me say that, you know, big endings. That's a huge house for her, because it is her. She is the Knight of Wands, and the Knight of Wands is Sagittarius. And so it's going to be, when one door closes, another door opens. But I think we're going to see more and more of the children as the month goes on, and she's going to be very smug about it. I'm not seeing a lot of hairy information here with her. I think that's what I mean. I think we're going to see at the end of it, it's her and the children. That's what I was trying to get at without saying so. All right, let's go on to the 10th house. Now, the 10th house is her very important house. It's her MC. It's like how she's seen in the world. That's usually called your midhaven. It's kind of supposed to be the top of your chart. And hers is in Aries. So she should, and you know, it's interesting that she wears a lot of beiges and whites and those kind of colors. If she was smart, she'd be wearing reds. Lots and lots of reds and maroons and even yellows. Anything to do with fire and Mars and that kind of thing. Anything to do with, she'd be really good at selling knives. Okay, so let's find out. So we have Aries, so that's the Emperor, and we have Venus in her 10th house, and we have the Moon, which is the High Priestess, and we have the, there we go. So the Venus and the Moon, interestingly enough, are in the same decan, and so that's 3 of Wands. So again, I think she has secret plans to do something else. I really do. I think that she sees, I'm going to say that this is possibly the people at Netflix. And this is her food show, her lifestyle show. She wants to show that she's rich and, you know, better than everybody else, and, you know, luxury. She wants to come off like she has luxury, but it's not going to work. She's got a secret plan. She's going to be very patient. She's got a secret plan. And I think we will, by the end of this series that I think is going to end abruptly, we might hear of her rebranding number 444. She's definitely looking, she's already looking somewhere else. So she already has secret plans to let this go. So we might hear of something like Pamela Anderson switched from foodie to gardener and decorator. So is she going to do something like that? Is she going to go into something more political? Is she going to go into something that's more motherhood? Because that's what I see in the previous house. Because you think, if this is like a clock, right? Now, it moves counterclockwise, the zodiac. So if this is like a clock, and all of these are in this 9th house, when the clock goes next month, it'll all be in her 10th house, which is her career, which is her, how she's wants to be seen in the world and how people see her. So a lot of these planets are going to click over to the next month. And I think that's why we're going to see the food part end. And I think we're going to see more of the children and the wild, you know. I honestly do. She's already got her sights on what's next. That's her persona. She's already got her sights on what's next. All right, so let's go to the next active house, which is the 11th house, which is Taurus. And she has, you know what? I did that wrong. The Hangman is Neptune, which is still, look, you can't see things clearly. So I didn't really mess that up. I get Neptune and Uranus reversed. That's part of my dyslexia. I reverse things, and I don't know why those two planets. I could never be an astrologist because I reverse so many things. So, pardon me. Her next house, which is Taurus, her 11th house is in Taurus, and she has Uranus on her in Taurus. So here's Taurus, the Hierophant. Here's Uranus being the Fool. And Uranus is actually in the second or the third decan, and that is the Seven of Pentacles. Yeah, the third decan, Seven of Pentacles. So here she is again. I actually think Netflix is going to drop her, and she's already looking at the next thing, because that's what Uranus does. It just sets you off on a course that you may not want to go, or it changes things. And here it is, and here we go again, starting something new, starting something fresh. And I think that by the end of the 30 days, we might hear that Netflix isn't renewing her and she's off to start something fresh and new. And I think that she may have like a new investor, actually. Like, as much as we think it's going to destroy her, I'm not getting that. A lot of these cards are destroying her. I'm getting that she's just constantly going to change again. And I think that, I mean, the Hierophant is a teacher, a guru. I mean, it could be the royal family, but I doubt it. I doubt it. I think somebody's going to distract her in some ways, and she's going to start something new. I think what she started with Netflix is it's going to take a very long time. It might be 7 episodes, perhaps. But I think they're going to part ways. I really do. Because remember, we're only doing 30 days. So the last house that's activated happens to be 12, and it's Jupiter in Gemini. So we have Jupiter, Gemini is the house, that's the lovers. We have Jupiter in Gemini, and Jupiter is in the second decan, so that's 6 of Swords. I think that so much is going to change in her life in this next month. I think she is moving on. All these show me that the next 30 days, she's moving on to different things. She's chasing the money. She's chasing the money. She's making different choices. We actually even could hear about her moving on to the next richest guy, because we all know that Harry has no money. So this could be her moving on to her next fortune, choosing a new lover onto her next fortune. I think these next 30 days are going to really be a big changes for her. And she already knows that. She already knows that. She's already got her nose out of joint. I'm just going to go back to this Neptune. It doesn't change anything, because you still have Neptune. That's what Neptune does. It puts a veil over your eyes, and it makes things murky. And I was watching I can't remember which astrologer I was watching, and they said when Harry married Meghan, his Neptune was over his Venus or something, so he couldn't see, and he couldn't see her clearly. He was the hanged man. He was like so in love, and he couldn't see anything else. Now, his Neptune has moved off of his Venus, and it just kind of happened last fall. And look, we can tell there is problems in that marriage. I think he is now come down off the hanged man, and he can see things for what they are. I think that, I think this is part of the reason why Meghan can't read the room. this Neptune on her Mercury. Something is ending for her, and she's already on to the other thing. She's the Knight of Wands. She's the Knight of Wands. So to summarize it, she's going to have a friend who shocks her, and she doesn't see it coming at all. I think the bullying reports are going to get louder and louder and louder, and it might be the end of her. I think the cooking show is going to morph into a parenting show. She's already got her eyes set on the next thing. There's not going to be a second season. I think she's going to be let go from Netflix and on to the next thing, on to the next big and best thing, and get started on that. I think she's already on her way out. By the end of March, she'll be out the door with Harry and looking for her next victim. These eclipses are really going to affect her, and I'm going to show you. One of the things is her midhaven is in Aries, and the last one is Aries affected. So something's going to happen at the top of her chart by the time that, and that's on the 29th, I think. I can't exactly remember. And all these planets are going to bunch around that, and she's going to be in big, big trouble. We're going to see some bad news from her. I'll tell you that. So that's how you can predict your month. Long story, but it's pretty accurate. So now I'm going to do Harry's. So hang on for that, and we'll see you in the next one. Thank you for spending this time with me. Hope you enjoyed this.